One, two, three, start. The reason for this amendment is that the central government is authorized by this item to declare by federal law any institution to be an institution of national importance. There may be many institutions built up wholly by private or provincial funds. It will not be fair for the central government to come down on one of them and say that it is going to be an institution of national importance. The consequence of that declaration may be that while that institution is serving the needs of a particular locality or a particular section of the population, it will become an all India institution available to the whole country. I realize there may be an advantage in such declaration with respect to certain institutions, but this power should be confined to those institutions which have been financed wholly or partly by the central government. It is only then that the central government will be entitled to declare the institution to be an institution of national importance. I beg to move the amendment, sir. Sir, in view of the amendment moved by Mr. Santhanam, I do not propose to move mine. If I may be allowed to point out, this item 27 corresponds to item 11 in the Government of India Act 1935. There also it was provided that any such institution must be financed by the Federation. Sir, the effect of this amendment would be to bring it exactly on the same basis as item number 11 of list 1 in the Government of India Act, from which the idea has been taken. Some changes have been made here, but I should submit that the text as given in the Government of India Act is slightly better. The effect of many amendment would be that it would extend the operation of the item to any other similar institutions. The word similar is very important as it will give some idea as to the nature of the institutions which can be brought into operation of this item by the federal authority. The next change I desire to effect is to the effect that I want to delete the words declared by federal law to be an institution of national importance. Instead of that, I want to substitute institutions controlled and financed by the federation. I submit the requirement of a declaration by federal law is unnecessary as the item is included in list 1. The federation will have automatically the power to make laws, so the provision that a thing has to be declared by the federal law seems to be unnecessary because the power to legislate on this item would be implied. Instead of that, the words controlled and financed by the federation would be better because that would be more appropriate. This is the effect of the amendment. This is clearly of a drafting nature and it does not seriously alter the purpose and scope of the item. With regard to Mr. Santhanam's amendment, I am in agreement with the spirit of the amendment. I suggest, sir, that institutions of this kind in Indian states would be left alone, otherwise there will be no end to the amount of interference that can be practiced under cover of an innocent looking provision like this. Sir, I expect Mr. Santhanam's amendment to the effect that after the words other institution, the words financed by the federation wholly or in part and be inserted. With regard to Mr. Najiruddin Ahmed's amendment, I might say that the word similar was changed into the words any other deliberately because the institutions referred to in item 27 specifically are the Imperial Library, the Indian Museum, the Imperial War Museum and the Victoria Memorial. These, it was considered, were not sufficiently indicative of the kind of institutions that the federation might choose to help financially and which the federal legislature might consider to be institutions of national importance. It is necessary, sir, that we should not have the restrictive adjective similar in this connection. Stop.